Is 2024 finally going to be the year you take that major Disney World vacation, or will some sticky circumstances prevent you from diving headfirst into a trip to the most magical place on Earth? Find out today here on DFB Guide. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we're answering the big question that you might be asking yourself right now. Should you go to Disney World in 2024? As easy as it'd be to just say yes and be done with it, that would make for a really short video and we wouldn't be completely honest. While there are tons of reasons to go ahead and book that big Florida vacay, there are also tons of reasons why you might want to hold off just a little bit longer when conditions improve. And those are exactly the kind of tough topics we're going to be addressing today. Before we get into all those pros and cons swarming your potential Disney World vacation, we've got free Disney World planning worksheets we want to send your way to help you with all those possible planning needs, because the best kind of travel planning assistance is the risk-free kind, right? Just scan that QR code you see on the screen now or head on over to disneyfoodblog.com/DisneyPlans right after this. Okay, we're going to start by seeing the glass half full today because, as I said, there are tons of reasons why 2024 might be your year for you to start packing your bags for the most magical place on Earth. So you might want to go if you haven't been for the past few years. If you haven't been to Disney World in the past few years, like since the big 2020 closures took place, then you should know that a lot has changed since then. A lot. There are so many new additions to the parks and resorts now that'll make your next visit feel fresh and exciting. For example, in Magic Kingdom, Tron Light Cycle Run opened just this past April, and the fan favorite nighttime spectacular Happily Ever After returned to Cinderella Castle after the 50th anniversary celebration wrapped up. In Epcot, there's been a whole bunch of transformations going on, which included new attractions like Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, Journey of Water inspired by Moana, and Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. There are brand new restaurants like Space 220, Shiki Sai, La Crêperie de Paris, and Connections Cafe and Eatery. There's new shops like Creations Shop and Treasures of Xandar, new light shows across Spaceship Earth each night, new meet and greets with Figment and Moana, and even more still to come, which we're going to talk about later on. Disney's Hollywood Studios has taken it easy since their giant 2018-2019 expansions for Toy Story Land and Galaxy's Edge, but we did get to experience Roundup Rodeo Barbecue this year for a Rootin' Tootin' barbecue spread in a very colorful table service setting. And around the resorts, lots of the room remodels have taken place and are still taking place. Some of these remodels include Moana theming at Disney's Polynesian Village Resort, Incredibles theming at the Contemporary Resort, Mary Poppins Returns theming inside the rooms and DVC rooms at Grand Floridian Resort and Spa, and lots of other character-inspired refurbishments to make the rooms more Disney-fied and updated. We've got some Little Mermaid stuff going on, lots. And new and updated restaurants also debuted in the hotels, including one of our new favorite places to dine, Steakhouse 71 in Contemporary Resort. And that's only scratching the surface. Hopefully that shows you just how much action has been happening these past few years inside the Disney bubble. While several Disney World projects had to be postponed after the 2020 closures, lots of them still eventually got to see the light of day and are available for guests to experience right now or in 2024. Now, on the flip side, you might also want to go if you want to say goodbye to some stuff. Disney World's not done giving us tons of new stuff to look forward to. They are still planning on expanding and innovating on into 2024 and beyond. But expansion sometimes has to come at a price that may mean saying goodbye to some of your old favorite attractions. At the beginning of 2023, we had to say so long to Splash Mountain as it took its final plunge. Now the ride is being reimagined into Tiana's Bayou Adventure, a log flume attraction following the cast of Princess and the Frog during Mardi Gras season, where riders are going to have to help Tiana find the missing ingredient for her big party. Now, why am I predicting that the missing ingredient is going to be like friends or family or love or something mushy like that? Unless it's something simple like powdered sugar and I'm just reading into things. Now, Tiana's Bayou Adventure is slated to open toward the end of 2024, and much like we got the chance to pay our respects to the classic Splash Mountain ride before it closed up shop, 2024 might just be your chance to do the same thing for other attractions that are currently on the potential chopping block. You might have noticed that a certain park was missing from my last point when we talked about all the new park additions. Since the Pandora World of Avatar expansion in 2017, can you believe it's been that long? Disney's Animal Kingdom has been pretty still for the past several years. But during Destination D23 this year, we learned that Animal Kingdom is about to experience a massive change that'll completely replace the current Dinoland USA area with an area that's more themed around the tropical Americas. featuring characters and stories from Disney's Encanto and Indiana Jones. Now, of course, this isn't confirmed, but this is definitely the direction Disney Imagineers are going for this area right now. So while a remodel is super exciting, I know there are several folks out there who are going to miss the carnival-themed prehistoric lore that Dinoland is so well known for. I love this land. I always have. I've always been a proponent of this one, so I'm pretty sad that we're going to lose this kitschy and cheesy and charming land. But here's the good news. All you Dinoland fans, Dinoland USA isn't going away just yet. Since Imagineers are still in the early stages of this concept, Dinoland isn't leaving anytime soon, meaning you'll still have time to pay it one last visit in 2024 before it goes extinct. And that's not the only thing Animal Kingdom's getting ready to change up completely. The 4D show, It's Tough to Be a Bug, located inside the Tree of Life, could be replaced by a Zootopia-themed 4D show instead. And while that may be the best news ever for some, my Bugs Life fans out there may want to watch this show one last time before it's terminated. While we're not sure exactly when this replacement's going to happen, we're assuming it'll be a quicker turnaround than Dinoland USA is going to be, but it should still be around for at least the beginning of 2024 since we don't have any dates for when this might change. Then there are the attractions that aren't going away completely, but are going to look way different in the future. Country Bear Jamboree over in Magic Kingdom, that's going to be receiving a whole new act with refurbished animatronics and songs later on in 2024. And Test Track over in Epcot will be getting its third ever complete makeover in the near future, which will be inspired by the defunct Epcot attraction that it replaced, World of Motion, that used to exist where Test Track now resides. Again, both of these attractions in their current state should still be up and running for at least the beginning of 2024. So if you want to see them in their OG form one more time before they get those refurbs, next year is your chance to do that. All right, now you might want to go to Disney World in 2024 if you've been saving for a long time. You know it, your family knows it, your friends' know it, Grandpa Joey down the street knows it. Disney World is expensive and it just keeps getting more expensive year after year. However, if you've spent 2023 planning ahead and budgeting in preparation for a big trip like this, then get to booking because you've worked your butt off and now it's time to reap those benefits. Plus, we can't promise it's not going to get more expensive. We've got a whole DFB post on our website breaking down all the different expenses that you'll need to consider when budgeting for a big Disney trip like this, which I'm going to link down in the description for you. But in general, once you figure out the number of days you want to visit, plus the time of year you want to go, then you're going to need to budget for the following vacation expenses: transportation by car or plane, hotels on or off Disney property, park tickets, standard or with park hopper add-ons, food like quick services and table services, maybe the Disney dining plan, and extras like Genie Plus, after-hours party tickets, souvenirs, etc. In general, the average cost for a family of 4 with 2 adults, 2 kids who are wanting to take on a week-long vacation during the summer season, that's going to be around $6,000 to $7,000 plus, depending on what you're prioritizing. Of course, there are tons of ways you can save on your trip too. By finding savings on Disney's special offers, deals, and discounts webpage, there's always discounts there. Reaching out to a reliable and free travel agent like our friends at Small World Vacations for savings assistance, and finding multiple ways to cut out the extras, like maybe choosing Good Neighbor hotels instead of Disney-owned hotels, or skipping Genie Plus purchases and bringing your own food into the parks. But as a rule of thumb, even with the extra savings that you find, it's still a good idea to over budget for vacation, just in case any unexpected extra expenses pop up along the way. So if you've spent 2023 budgeting, planning, and saving, then 2024 is going to be your year to enjoy some much needed time off for a trip full of priceless memories. And if you want even more help finding ways to save money on your Disney World trip, be sure to check out our 50 Ways to Save $100 video, now live on our channel when you get the chance. So maybe you should go to Disney World in 2024 if you want to experience the festivals in a brand new way. Some of y'all out there have gotten the Epcot Festivals down to a science. You know what you want to buy, which activities you want to prioritize, which foods are your must-eats, and even which ones are your must-not-eats. And you've gotten so good at planning out your Epcot Festivals that, let's face it, aside from a few new foods and food booths each year, that little oomph of festival excitement seems to be lacking lately. But not for long, because the Epcot Festivals are about to be revitalized. A dedicated festival area is finally opening in Disney World's Epcot to serve as the new home base for those seasonal festivals and live events. Communicore Hall and Communicore Plaza will be housed in Epcot's World Celebration area, which is slated to open by December 2023, so like really soon. So let's break down what Communicore is actually going to mean for future Epcot guests. Communicore Plaza will provide an outdoor space where guests can come to relax and experience all that the festivals have to offer. The literal spotlight of this section will be the concert area that extends out into the nearby gardens. Concerts featured here will range between big-time performances of popular bands to more intimate performances with local artists. And then there's Communicore Hall, which will be housed within the plaza and will be the first fully purpose-built structure in festival programming. Designed with flexibility in mind, this hall is going to be able to host a wide variety of experiences with food, art, live music, and more. The hall will feature a demonstration kitchen, a mixology bar, and an exhibition and gallery space. It'll also help extend the festival experience and give presenting chefs new ways to connect and experiment with food and drinks, which means we might just see the return of those food and wine festival seminars and demonstrations that we used to love before the pandemic, which that's going to make food and wine so much better if that's actually the case. In March 2023, Disney shared a sneak peek at what we can expect from Communicore Hall on the inside, and it looks swanky. In the concept art, you can see things like a huge, colorful statue of Figment, along with an inside-out activity area and more vibrant art all over the walls and ceiling. So I'd bet big money, if I were a betting gal, that that's the kind of vibe we should expect during Festival of the Arts this year. But there is some more on this point. Communicore Hall will also be the location of a new Mickey and Friends meet and greet, so get your cameras and autograph books ready. And as the seasons and seasonal festivals change throughout the year, the World Celebration Hub is going to change along with it. This hub's going to be divided into several different gardens that are designed to also evolve along with each season. These gardens will offer plenty of shade and seating for guests, and each one will have its own identity for you to fall in love with. And when the sun goes down, the lighting in this area will immerse guests in a totally new nighttime experience. And if the light shows on Spaceship Earth are any hint to what we can expect from these Communicore gardens, then yeah, expect me to be spending the majority of my evenings here. So, in summary, if you want to experience an Epcot Festival in a whole new way, then 2024 is going to be your year to get a fresh take on your favorite fest. All right, so you might want to go to Disney World in 2024 because the things you've been waiting for are finally happening. You've asked for them and Disney's finally bringing them back. After the 2020 closures, the way Disney World operated as a whole completely changed. And I'm not just talking about giving us new and exciting stuff to look forward to. It changed in some rather unpopular ways that made folks put all their future Disney trips on hold until they knew things were going to be, quote, back to normal, unquote. And while not everything is back to normal in Disney World, a few key parts of it are going to be starting on January 9th, 2024. What does that include? I'm glad you asked. First and foremost, Park Pass reservations will be discontinued for date-based tickets, which means most of us. If you aren't familiar with Park Pass reservations, here's the long and short of it. Since the park reopenings in 2020, Disney World has required not only a ticket for admission to the parks, but also a reservation for whichever park you're planning to visit on any given day. But starting January 9th, unless you're an annual pass holder or a cast member or you have an undated ticket, you're no longer going to need to worry about making these Park Pass reservations. Instead, you'll be able to scan into whatever park you want on any day you want of your vacation as long as you have a valid ticket. And since the Park Pass reservations are going away, those Park Hopper rules are getting the heck out of Dodge with them. Ever since Park Hoppers returned in 2021, anyone who's purchased this add-on hasn't been able to start using it until after 2 p.m. each day, since you had to check into the park you made your reservations for first. But all-day park hopping is finally coming back, meaning anyone who purchases a park ticket with a Park Hopper or has an annual pass can visit another theme park at any time of day during park hours. Disney noted that on days when theme park reservations are required for annual pass holders and non-dated tickets, pass holders and guests will still be able to take advantage of the updates to Park Hopper access after visiting their first park, so you're in the clear. If you have a Park Pass reservation for, say, Magic Kingdom and you enter that park at 9 a.m., then you can go to a different park at any time after you scan into good old MK, easy as pie. But remember, that's just for annual pass holders or people holding undated tickets. If you've got a ticket that has a date on it or a series of dates, then you are good to go with no Park Pass reservations and park hopping all day. And then here's the real big turn of events that so many of you have wanted to happen for literal years now. The Disney Dining Plan is available to buy with Disney World vacation packages again. And that's starting on January 9th as well. The dining plan allows you to prepay for your meals for your entire Disney World vacation to make your Disney World life feel all the more all-inclusive. Now, word of warning, this isn't necessarily a way to save money on your Disney meals, but it is a way to budget and plan in advance. If you want to learn more about the Disney dining plan and figure out if it's going to be the right fit for you, be sure to check out our new DFB guide to maximizing the Disney dining plan over at dfbstore.com. You can type in code YouTube for some extra savings on your purchase. And remember, it's a 100% money back guaranteed purchase. And you might want to go to Disney World in 2024 if your kids are about to age out of the free stuff. If you're a parent of a real young kid and you're wondering whether or not it's worth taking your baby or toddler to Disney World when they won't even remember it, here's a big reason why you might want to bite the bullet anyway. If your kid is under the age of 3, then you do not have to pay for their park ticket. That's right, toddlers and babies get to enjoy the parks for free. The same goes for those all-you-care-to-enjoy restaurants around property, too. You don't have to worry about paying for a refillable plate for your toddler. They can just share from anyone's plate at the table for a whopping total of free. So, depending on how old your little one is currently, 2024 might be your final chance to experience the parks when you don't have to pay for an extra ticket for them. Okay, we've gotten to the part of the video where we're going to tell you not to go to Disney World. Here is why. First, maybe you don't want to plan a trip before all the new stuff. You know how I mentioned that going to Disney World in 2024 might be the perfect time because it'll give you that much needed sense of closure before one of your old favorite attractions closes up for good? Well, here's playing the devil's advocate. Let's say you don't have any sentimental attachment to those attractions because you've never experienced them or you're just not a big fan of them at all. Then going to Disney World in 2024 before all those major updates are officially made may make you feel like you're missing out on all the shiny new stuff to come. After all, a lot of those release dates are pretty loose right now. In fact, most of them we don't know anything at all. While we do know that Tiana's Bayou Adventure is slated for the end of 2024 and that the reimagined Country Bears Jamboree should be hitting the scene in 2024 as well, we don't have any concrete release dates yet, so you could wind up planning an end-of-the-year Disney World trip only to find out the release dates for those new attractions you really wanted to see have been pushed back or are set for a release right after your vacation wraps up. Now, if you visit Disney World quite a bit each year, then taking a trip before all the new stuff arrives may not be that big of a deal to you, but if you only take a major Disney World vacation every 5 years or so, then you may not want to waste your hard-earned cash on a trip that'll cause you to miss out on the brand new stuff you're looking forward to seeing the most. And you might want to skip Disney World in 2024 if the cost is going to outweigh the fun. I know many of y'all are still caught up on what I said earlier, that a Disney World trip for a family of 4 could average around $6,000 to $7,000. That is not a drop in the bucket or pocket change or a reasonable amount you might be saving in your piggy bank. That's a lot of money to pull out of your savings, and if you're not careful, the amount of money you're putting toward the vacation will become the main focus of the vacation. As in, it won't matter how cool the rides are, how fun the restaurants can be, how many goosebumps you're going to get during the shows. The main thing you're going to be taking away from the vacation is, gosh, I paid way too much money for this. If you can't get past that mindset, it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you because that price could have covered a few months' rent or a good down payment on a car and lots of groceries. But as we already talked about, if you've planned and budgeted for this vacation for months, as well as found those nifty ways to save a couple $100 along the way from our video, then the sticker shock maybe isn't going to be quite as shocking. And if you know you're going to be stressing about the money the entire time you're there, then you may want to take that costly weight off your shoulders and try some of Florida's other vacation destinations that won't demand thousands of dollars from you. You could go kayaking in a glass-bottom boat around Blue Springs State Park or visit the Kennedy Space Center. Check out the farmers market at Lake Eola Park. Drive over to Clearwater Beach in Tampa. And even when it comes to places to stay, you could book a well-rated Airbnb around that area with a private backyard pool and still not have to pay those steep resort prices. Even if you don't build an entire Florida vacation around the Disney parks, you can always at least chisel some time out of your trip to check out the Disney Springs Shopping District at the very least, which is free to explore, and or hop on a bus to one or more of the Disney World hotels. After all, you can still visit the resorts without booking a room there. You just won't be able to park at them unless you've got a pre-existing advanced dining reservation at one of the restaurants. Otherwise, you're still more than welcome to use the complimentary Disney Springs buses or boats to get you where you need to go. All in all, you can still experience Orlando or Florida in general, beaches, sunshine, ocean, without having to funnel all your vacation money into one grand Disney World getaway. Now, you might want to skip 2024 in Disney World if you don't want to deal with the crowds. Disney World's busiest seasons can be quite the fun suck. I'm not saying they have to be, but they can be. If your vacation time frame is smack dab during Disney's peak travel seasons, like spring break or around the holidays, then you're not just going to see price tags spiking upwards, you're going to see crowd levels spiking upwards too. And I can tell you about those non-peak travel times, like around August and September, or at the very beginning of the new year, until I'm blue in the face. But if your vacation time frame doesn't fit into those specific non-peak times, then the point is moot, because there's a reason peak seasons exist in the first place. They work for a lot of family schedules, which is why the crowds get to be so thick. There are definitely ways you can work around the Disney World crowds and still have a good time in the parks, though. You can use early theme park entry, which lets Disney hotel guests enter the parks 30 minutes before they officially open, to give you a head start toward the most popular rides. You can invest in Disney Genie Plus and individual lightning lanes to bypass the main queues of attractions. You can book your advanced dining reservations 60 days out so you're not stuck trying to book one at the last minute and coming up short. Purchase after-hours event tickets for 3 extra hours in the parks on select evenings. That gives you not just a park experience where the crowds are capped off at a much more limited capacity with much shorter wait times, but also complimentary snacks like ice cream bars and popcorn and select bottled drinks throughout the night. You can take advantage of merchandise mobile checkout at the main Disney gift shops, which will be available on your My Disney Experience app and cut you out of lots of long lines for merchandise. And when worst comes to worst, you can always escape the crowds for a bit to explore one of the nearby hotels, take a breather, then head on back into the park when the crowd levels die down toward the evening. However, even with all these different strategies at your disposal, if you hate being shoulder to shoulder with other folks for any amount of time, then it doesn't matter how fun Disney sounds. It could just end up being a miserable time for you. And that's not fun to think about. So you might want to skip Disney World in 2024 if you want to experience a different kind of Disney. It's not all Disney World this and Disney World that. Disney's got other fun vacation opportunities you may want to explore instead, or maybe you've done Disney World a bunch and you want to try something new. Disneyland in Anaheim will give you tons of different options that may appeal more to your family, like a full-on Cars Land, Avengers Campus, San Francisco, and so many classic rides and restaurants that Walt Disney himself got to experience firsthand. Or, if you're feeling adventurous, you may want to check out one of the overseas Disney parks in 2024, since they've all got a lot of new stuff they're adding to their resort areas too. In fact, just a few weeks ago, I took a trip out to Tokyo Disney to check out all the Tokyo Disneyland and Tokyo Disney Sea attractions and had an absolute blast while I was there. You can check out my top 10 favorite rides I experienced while I was in the Tokyo Disney bubble. And of course, I've got a whole food video for you, and there's more to come. Or if you want to ditch the theme park scene altogether, you may want to go the Disney cruise route instead. Disney Cruise Line currently has 5 ships, including the Magic, Wonder, Fantasy, Dream, and Wish. And by the end of the year, they'll be welcoming a 6th ship into the fleet called the Treasure. The Disney Treasure is going to embark on her maiden voyage December 2024 and will feature new cruise additions that are straight from the parks, y'all. They're going to have a Haunted Mansion lounge. They're going to have a Plaza de Coco theatrical dining experience, Skipper Society Lounge, which is going to be themed to the Jungle Cruise, Periscope Pub, which is themed after the 1954 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and kind of a little bit from the parks too, right? Jumbo's Suites, which is Zootopia themed, a brand new Moana Broadway style stage show, and a lot more. But even if you aren't sailing in December, you might still be able to experience another very new aspect of the Disney cruises, and that's Disney's brand new island destination, Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point. Starting June 6th, select sailings on the Disney Magic, Dream, and Fantasy will begin traveling to Lookout Key, which is located on the island of Eleuthera in the Bahamas. Much like Disney's first private island, Castaway Key, Lookout will feature white sandy beaches, market-style dining, water play areas, private cabanas, those are an extra fee, and lots of other activities, including an adults-only area. So whatever you end up wanting to do for your 2024 vacation, the DFB team and I will be here to help you plan and budget and navigate wherever you decide to go. Okay, this is an interesting one. You might not want to go to Disney World in 2024 if your kids are waving the red flag. Here's the thing. If you ask your kids how they feel about a potential Disney World trip and they don't respond by jumping up and down on the couch squealing with excitement, then you might want to slam on the brakes. Kids go through phases, and the phase your kid might be in right now is one that's flat out apathetic toward a Disney trip. Maybe they feel like they're too old, or they don't really understand what all the fuss is about just yet, or they'd much rather spend all their summer splashing around in the neighborhood pool. I know, it can be disappointing to hear your kids say thanks but no thanks to a Disney World vacation, but it's much better for them to give you their honest opinion and you accept it for what it is, rather than forcing the Disney fun to still happen regardless of what they say, which could wind up being a waste waste of time, money, and patience for the whole family. Your kid may not always feel apathetic toward a Disney trip, so patience may be the key here. And again, Disney World isn't the only vacation destination out there. Find some common ground with your fam and settle on a trip that everyone can get behind, even if that means skipping Disney next year and possibly the year after that too. But hey, mom and dad, if you desperately want to go to Disney, maybe it's time to take a girls trip or take a quick long weekend with your brothers or whatever and possibly even try a solo vacation. I love them. Now, maybe you'd rather avoid the stress, period. Okay, this is still piggybacking off of my last point a little bit, but it needs to be said. If the whole idea of a Disney World vacation is stressing you out instead of exciting you, whether it be about the money or the kids' reactions or the crowds, whatever, it's not the law that you have to go to Disney World. If there's anything that's going to keep you from truly enjoying yourself, then skip it this year. But if it's simply the fact that you need a helping hand to get the whole trip put together, then we're here to help, and so are our friends over at Small World Vacations. We've got tons of videos, we've got the website, we've got all kinds of social media for you to go to check out, and our whole goal of being here is to help you and make sure that you don't make the same mistakes that we've made. So that's the whole reason we get up in the morning, and our friends at Small World Vacations team up with future Disney guests to do all the heavy planning lifting for you for free. So if you want to take advantage of their services, I'll link their info down in the description below. So what do you think? Is a 2024 Disney World vacation still in your future? If it is, then make sure to download our free Disney World planning worksheets over at disneyfoodblog.com/disneyplans. And be sure to tune in for even more Disney World tips and tricks to come. And remember, sometimes planning is the best part. So even if you're not going to go till 2025 or 2026, you can still get those free planning worksheets and maybe take a little bit of extra time with your planning. It's definitely worth it. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.